Now we'll see about OpenSQL in ABAP program. OpenSQL are used in ABAP to access the database tables declared in the ABAP data dictionary. OpenSQLs are supported by all the databases which are used in ABAP. When a company purchases the SAP software and they do the installation, they have an option to select the database which they want to use. Let's say MS SQL, Oracle, DB2, HANA-DB, etc. So there are different databases available which are supported by SAP. So company, based on their requirement, they can decide with which database they want to go. So the OpenSQL is support all the database languages. Now why this is mentioned as it is supported? Because every database language, whether it is a SQL, Oracle, DB2, HANA-DB, so all database, they have their own syntax for reading the data. But if you write a code based on the database language, this will be very complex. So that's why, to avoid that problem, SAP comes up with a solution, that is OpenSQL. So when we write the OpenSQL syntax, so when the syntax are passed to the database, so based on the database type, there is a database interface there in between that. So OpenSQL are converted into the corresponding database specific language, and the required query is fired on the database. So that's why it is mentioned as the OpenSQL support all the database languages. Now let's see next. So what are the different statements in OpenSQL? So first we'll see a select. A select statement is used to read the data from database, and second is insert. Whenever we want to add any new record into database, then we use the insert statement. The next is modify. When you use the modify statement in a web program, so this is a combination of insert as well as update. So modify means if a record is already exists with the same primary key, the existing record in the underlying database will be modified, and if the record is not there, it will get added. So this perform in dual way. Now update is used to update existing field of a database record, and there is delete. Suppose if you want to delete one record from the database, then you can use the delete option. All OpenSQL statements fill the following two system variables as a return value. Means whenever we execute the statement using any one of the available statements syntax, system returns the size of RC and the size database con. The size of RC will equal to 0. The value of this field, system field, will equal to 0 if the corresponding operation is performed successfully. Otherwise, it will not equal to 0. The database count will give the number of records which are processed using the above syntax. Now let's have a look at how the select query work. The format of a select query we can understand with this line of piece, like select fields from source into target and where conditions. Here the fields are, you have to mention the number of fields which you want to fetch from the database table, and if you want to select all the fields, that is all the columns from database, then we can use a star to select all the columns from database. Or if you want to select a specific field, then we can write the select query like this: select field 1, field 2 and field 3. Second is source. Source is the database name from which table we want to fetch the data. Then when we select the data from database table on the application server, we require some object that will hold the data. So generally we use the internal table or the work area. So target here refer to the internal table or the work area which will store the record after selection. and we can mention the where condition based on which the system will select the data from database. So there are various way of writing the select query, like select and select star, select the fields, select single, select up to n number of rows, etc., etc. This all we'll see when I will write the actual program. So I will show multiple select options. Now let's see other, like insert. When you want to insert a record into a database table, then we can use the statement like this: insert. Here we have to give the database table name, and either we can insert a value from the internal table, like in internal table if you have multiple records, that all you can insert in a database table with this statement, or we can insert a single record by using the statement like insert into table from the work area. A work area, that is a structure, will always have the one record, or it will be blank. It cannot have more than one record. Similarly, if you want to update a particular database table using the update, then we can set the field which you want to update. Like I want to update field 1, you have to pass the value, field 2, pass the value, and don't forget to mention the where condition. If you forget to mention the where condition, so this value will be set to all the records in the database table. So when you're using database syntax update, always use the where. Modify. If you want to modify a database table, we can use the modify from work area. Also, we can use the index. No, not index here. Index is used for the internal table. And similarly, if you want to delete a record from database table, we can use the syntax like this: delete database table name where the field equal to the XYZ or ABC, whatever. Or we can also delete the database record using work area. So this is all about an overview of OpenSQL in a back program. So after this, next I will write a program, and one by one I will show how the select queries work, how the insert, update, modify and delete all works in the web program. That will show after this section.